So let us go on. Okay, so what is it? Let's talk about agility and job search. So we talked about my understanding of agility. It's not the dog on the left. It's cute. Why is a dog in a horse show? That's what I haven't actually figured out. But let's talk about what agility really means. So I'm going to take this picture and go blow it up. Not that far. Okay, if we take a standard picture of agility, you build it. That's going to start with plan. You plan, you get continuous feedback from your stakeholders, you deploy, you operate, you integrate, and you just do it over and over and over again. This is literally the most simple Agile framework I could find. So this is actually a perfect framework for how you should go about job search. Okay, and that's what we're going to spend probably the next half hour talking about. So let's go on to the next page. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm going to copy this picture and put it on the next page. Therefore, we'll have a frame of reference. Okay, so that's the picture. Just get rid of this. Just see if I can bring this. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Okay. Got too many independent pictures. Okay, so basically, if we look at a build, plan, feedback, deploy, operate, integrate, continuous. Okay, so it doesn't map exactly, obviously, to job search, but it's pretty close, which is a little scary. So what does build mean? Okay, that's the resume. That's your LinkedIn profile. That could be your cover letter. That could be your 30-second elevator speech. Okay, plan. This is the most important part of job search. So you have to plan a job search. So, or you should plan a job search. Now, I started off by saying that you can get a job without planning. But the question is, do you want to get the right job? So what does that even mean? So a job search strategy basically to me is two parts. It's thinking about strategy on one hand, execution on the other. So job search strategy is really two pieces that I mentioned. There's strategy and there's execution. The strategy is, what kind of company do I want to be in? What industry do I want to be in? What is the next job that's going to get me to the next job? How am I going to search for a job? Am I going to apply on job boards and get a crappy job because I don't really love job boards? Who in my network could potentially help me out? So all these are kind of big picture, where do you want to be with your life? What do you want to do with your life? Where do you want to be? That's strategy. Execution then becomes, do I have the right resume? Do I write the LinkedIn profile? We're going to talk about networking on the next page. So there's a strategy about where do you really want to position yourself for your career? And there's execution, which is going out and getting the job. And as I mentioned, why do you spend so much time buying a car, or why do you spend so much time buying a house if you're not going to spend that much time in your career? I hate that. I'm passionate about the fact that people should be active in their job search, not just passively accept something. If you passively accept something, it's going to affect your titles you're going to get over time. It's going to affect your compensation. So I strongly believe in having a really active job search type approach. Got to get the strategy down and the execution and really think about it carefully. Okay, feedback. Okay, this is incredibly important. So I can't tell you how many clients or people before they become clients say, okay, Mike, I'm in the middle of job search. I submitted my resume. It's not really doing me any good. Okay, so let's just pause here for a second. Potential client comes in my door. Mike, I've applied for 5,000 jobs online. I've even spoken to a bunch of my network. And you know what? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay, so clearly there's something going wrong with that person, assuming that they're qualified. So, okay, so as part of job search strategy, get opinions in the marketplace about you and your candidacy. So this is a form of network. Never go into salary negotiations with an employer unless you know what your value is in the marketplace. Never start shipping your resume around to people and applying on job boards unless you're passed by a friend or two or three in that industry. Have somebody in that industry take a look at your LinkedIn profile. Passing your marketing materials past someone who you know and trust that is in the industry you want to be in. I mentioned 1-page resume, 2-page resume, 3-page resume. There may be someone out there saying, Mike, I work in an industry like medical field, which is something I don't know anything about. Our standard is 5 pages in the medical field. Great. Don't listen to me. Go out to people in the medical field and ask them. Now, how do you find those people? Well, we already talked about that, LinkedIn. So if you have the network, great, use it. A lot of people don't use their network for this purpose. If you don't have the network, we already know how to find people on LinkedIn, and then I'll show you how to connect with them on the next page. So there is literally nothing that you can't find out by talking to people. Let me give you an example. Client called me up last night. Yeah, it's been a long day. Client called me up yesterday morning and said, Mike, I just got a job at a bank. They offered me 160,000 plus, I think it was 20% bonus. Should I take it? And I asked him, I said, do you know what your market value is? Because I had helped him with his resume, but I hadn't spoken to him in a while. He didn't hire me for a job for this aspect, but I was happy to help him out. So I basically said to him, I said, well, they're offering 160 plus bonus. Is that market for you? He said, I have no idea. So I did him a favor. What I did was I basically went to LinkedIn. I basically contacted 3 people that I knew that had a similar job in a completely unrelated company. So not his company, not the target company. I went to people who had a very similar job in other companies. And I said, hey, I have a client that is looking at this job. And I gave the person the exact job. I didn't say what company it was, didn't say who my client was. I have a client that has an offer for 160,000 plus 20% from a European bank. I left it at that. And here's the job title, blah, 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 blah. 3 people came back to me and 2 people came back and said it was low. 1 person came back and said it was generally market. Okay, now we start to have a feel for what his market value is. Because there's so much wage inflation these days, maybe the 160 is what they offered. They're clearly going to go up. But how much lower was that 160 than market? So it seems like since 2 people said it's below market and 1 said it's at market, it sounds like it's low, but it's not horribly low. I'd probably ask 6 people if it were me. It was my career. So what's the point? The point is you can get your market value before you even start a job search. You can get what people think of your LinkedIn profile. Before you even start your job search, do interview preparation with people who are smart and can tell you. So this whole concept of feedback that is so important in Agile it's so incredibly important in job search too. And most people don't ask the help of other people when it comes to big picture stuff, especially like what your salary should be. Okay. Deploy. Okay, so what is deploy? That's basically how you're going to look for a job. Are you going to use the job boards? Are you going to network? Are you going to use a recruiter? So the deploying is basically getting out there, getting your resume into the right hands, making a list of companies you want to work for, because yes, you can take control of your job search, make a list of companies you want to work for, and then potentially find out if there's job postings, potentially there's ways to network. I'll talk about that in the next page, and find out and potentially use recruiters. There's other methods out there, but I think these are the three of the biggest.